Hey everyone, welcome back to another daily problem walkthrough. Today we are looking at a really fun graph problem called check if there is a valid path in a grid. Before we dive in, as always, if you get confused at any point during the video, please drop a question in the comments. I read all of them, and I will respond to help you out. Here is the problem page. It looks a bit overwhelming with all the street pictures, so let's break it down piece by piece to see what it's really asking. We are given a grid of cells. Our goal is simple. We need to figure out if there is a valid path starting from the very top left corner of the grid, all the way to the bottom right corner. Every cell in this grid contains a street. The street is represented by a number from 1 to 6. Each number tells us exactly which directions we can travel through that specific cell. But here is the catch. Just because a street exits to the right doesn't mean you can move to the cell on the right. The cell next to it must have a street that connects back to the left. They have to join perfectly. Quick heads up, we will be walking through the logic using Python, but don't worry if you use Java, C++, or JavaScript. I will have the full code for those at the very end of the video. Okay, let's look at the first approach, which is constructing a graph based on adjacent relationships. The main idea here is that we can treat every single cell like a dot on a map, and draw lines between them if their streets connect properly. Because all the streets are given to us up front, this is what we call a static connectivity problem. The perfect data structure to figure out if two things are connected in a static map is the union find, also known as a disjoint set. If you haven't used union find before, it basically just groups items together. If we go through our grid and group all connected streets together, by the end, we just check if our starting cell and our ending cell are in the exact same group. Union find usually works with a simple flat list of numbers, not a two-dimensional grid, so we need to convert every grid coordinate into a unique single number ID. We do this by multiplying the row by the total number of columns, and then adding the current column. Now for the core logic, as we loop through every cell, we look at what type of street it is. If it's a type 1 street, we know it goes left and right, so we need to check the neighbors in those two directions. Let's say we are checking the left neighbor. First, we make sure we aren't at the edge of the board. Then, we check if that neighbor has a street that points back to the right. Only streets 1, 4, and 6 do that. If the neighbor exists and its street connects back to us, we found a valid road. We tell our union find data structure to merge the ID of our current cell with the ID of the neighbor cell, linking them together. Here is the full code for that first approach. It looks a bit long because of the help of functions, but the logic is very repetitive. Let's break it down into smaller chunks. At the very top, we define our Disjoint Set class. This is a standard template. It initializes every cell as its own group, finds the root group of a cell with path compression, and merges two groups together. Inside our main function, we define some helpers. We have our getID function to convert coordinates. Then we have detection functions for all four directions. For example, detectL checks if the left neighbor is within bounds and has a connecting street shape. Next, we just loop through every single row and column. We check the value of the street at the current cell. Depending on what number it is, from 1 to 6, we fire off the specific detection functions for the directions that street goes. After checking the entire board, all connected paths will be merged. Finally, we just check if the group ID for the top left starting cell is exactly the same as the group ID for the bottom right ending cell. If they are, we have a path. Now let's look at the second approach from the editorial. The first approach worked great, but writing out every single street combination is a bit tedious. We can actually use bit manipulation to do this much more cleanly. First, let's assign a number from 0 to 3 to represent our four main directions: up, right, down, and left, moving clockwise. Here is the really cool math trick. If we want to find the exact opposite direction, we just take our current direction number, add 2 to it, and find the remainder when divided by 4. So if we are going right, which is 1, the math gives us 3, which is left. Now we can represent every single street type as a 4-bit binary number. Each bit represents one of our directions. If a street goes in that direction, we set the bit to 1. Otherwise it's 0. For example, street type 1 goes left and right. Those are bit positions 3 and 1, so its binary representation becomes 1, 0, 1, 0. We map out all 6 streets this way into a pattern dictionary. Here is the full code for the second approach. As you can see, instead of a massive block of if statements, we have a very compact handler function. Let's see how it works. We start by storing our binary patterns. Notice index 0 is empty, so the street numbers map perfectly to the list indexes. We also store the x and y coordinate changes for our four directions in order. Inside our handler, we get the binary pattern for the current street. We loop through all 4 possible directions. Using the bitwise AND operator, we check if our current street's pattern has a 1 in that direction slot. If it does, we calculate the coordinates for that neighbor. If the neighbor coordinates are within the grid, we grab the neighbor's pattern. Then, we use our math trick to find the opposite direction bit, and use the AND operator again to see if the neighbor has that bit set. If it does, we merge them. A quick note on edge cases. What if the grid is super tiny, just a single cell? Well, our code handles this perfectly. Because the starting coordinates and the ending coordinates would be exactly the same, they both map to ID 0. When we check if they are in the same group at the end, it will always be true, which is exactly what we want. Let's talk performance. The time complexity is order t times the inverse Ackermann function of t, where t is the total number of cells in the grid. The inverse Ackermann function grows so incredibly slowly that it's practically constant time, making this very fast. The space complexity is order t. This is because our disjoint set data structure needs to create a flat list that has 1 slot for every single cell in our grid to keep track of its group ID. So, the main lessons to take away from this problem are: union find is amazing for seeing if things connect. Mapping 2D coordinates to flat lists is a crucial skill. And using modulo arithmetic for directions can save you from writing endless if statements. If you want to run this code yourself, you don't have to pause the video and retype it. I've put a link in the description to leetcodeunlocked.com, where you can just easily copy and paste the exact code I just showed. Quick housekeeping before the other languages: you can probably tell my voice is AI. I built a system to generate these explanations instantly when the daily problem drops so I can study efficiently. And I share them here ad-free to help you guys too. I recently changed up the video format to be much faster paced, so please let me know in the comments if you like this new style. Alright, as promised, here are the full solutions for the second approach translated into Java, C++, and JavaScript. Again, you can grab these on the website link below. Here is the full solution written out in Java. Next up, here is the C++ version. And finally, here is the solution in JavaScript. If you found this helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. If you want to help support my goal of covering every single problem on Leetcode, consider buying me a boba at the link on screen. Keep coding, and I will catch you guys in the next one.